Okay, sup you guys? It's your boy, Dark Raku here with What If Issei Was a Jinchuuriki Part 4. Now, before I continue on, I do know. I know that there's a lot of people wanting for what's it called part I know there's a lot of people wanting what's it called part 3 for what if Issei was what's it called a darkness user and became a stray. But I'm gonna do this what if instead, so leave me alone. I'm also going to do later on what if Issei was or not was had a anti-magic team in part 3. So yeah, later, but yeah, leave me alone. I know some people are still wanting the darkness one because I think a lot of people really like that one. But leave me alone because I'm gonna do this one instead because I have a good ass idea for this. Well, kind of. It's mostly never mind. I'm not going into so, but or sorry right now. But let me actually go into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. Let me stop rambling on and yeah. So let's begin. We go into Issei and not Aka, mostly Aika are just like kind of eating and talking and yeah, and this is where Matsui kind of is smoking. Yes, he's outside right now smoking a cigarette because yes, this Matsui literally smokes cigarettes. He is still mostly in my other what ifs I kind of make him alcoholic, but don't worry about that. But yeah, but in this what if he does kind of have a good reason and why he's an alcoholic and kind of smokes a little bit. So yeah, yeah, don't worry about that. Mostly, uh, well, I'm not gonna go into explain with the others, but yeah, let me just go into Matsui. Matsui is kind of just like chilling outside, right now smoking this where well. Murahama then appears next to him. Of course, Murahama is not in his genjutsu form, but actually in his true, actually looking form. He has bluish, light bluish hair, some green highlight tint, mostly near his like bangs, but yeah, or mostly near his bang hair. And of course, the well, he also kind of has these like palish lavender blue eyes for Byakugan to this work. Well, he has a kind of he has arrows on his back, like a bunch of like a batch of arrows on his back, and also a bow and arrow behind him. This is where he has the symbol of the Hyugas on what's it called on like a on the strap that he has what's it called the arrows are at. And of course on the bow it also does have the symbol of the Hyugas. But of course the word he's like right next to Matsui. Of course, I should also mention that he has like does have like bluish hair in a ponytail, mostly ponytail. He does have long blue hair, so of course he does kind of put it in a ponytail. But this is where he's laying next to a tree, and of course, that's Muhammad. This is where Matsui is kind of near the tree, but of course he's smoking. This is where Muhammad says, "So, are you going to go do it, or am I?" This is where what's it called? What Hama said. This is where Matsui said. He keeps smoking this where he said, I'll do it. I'm bored anyway. Besides, aren't you going to be watching TV or I don't know, be training or something? This is where Hama chuckles and says, yeah, I'll be watching TV later. I'll be watching what's it called, the new shows that are coming out. But what's it called? But still, are you sure you'll be ready for what's it called, going against that broken church, the fallen angels had? I'll be fine. That's where, Matsui kind of replies. This is where, what Hama says. I'm just saying, if you want me and what's it called, Issei can come along. Dude, I'll be fine, I said. I'm good. I'm goaded. This is where, what's it called? What Hama just chuckles and says, yeah, sure, you're goaded. Still, just saying. This is where, Matsui says, nah, I'm fine. This is where, Matsui looks like a kind of, he has black spiky hair, like, what's it called? He's not bald, that's his genjutsu form, but mostly his true form, he looks to have, like, mostly, like, midnight kind of, like, black, like, pitch black hair, and, of course, onyx eyes. This is where, he does have, what's it called, something wrapped around his forehead, mostly, like, white bandages, but pretty much he only has that because in the morning, it was much of a headache, but yeah. But of course, he is kind of just, what's it called, just there sitting, and of course just smoking right now, but yeah. He's wearing plain clothes, but yeah. I should mention that Murahama was wearing a kind of bluish jacket, and yeah, like a purple kind of like, not purple, mostly a black, turtleneck shirt, but yeah. And of course he had black pants, and yeah. He already left, but this is where it will. Matsui is just sitting there, or mostly standing there and keeps smoking. This is where it will. His smoke was almost over. He drops and just crushes it under his feet. This is where it will. Matsui says, I'll be okay. Besides, I still gotta get stronger if I want to kill that son of a bitch. This is where he says, coldly under his breath. This is where, well, he then just goes inside to get ready, but yeah, mostly get ready for the night. This is where, Aika and Issei are just been talking, and of course they've been sitting on the couch while, well, Murahamo's downstairs, kind of, in the house, there is kind of, okay, there's like 3 levels of the house. There's like the first floor, the third, well, mostly second floor, and third floor. Now, of course, also, what's it called, like a roof on top, but yeah, don't worry about that, mostly the attic. But underneath is like the basement, that's mostly like a man cave. But of course, underneath that, there's a training ground. So yeah, so this house is kind of like a mansion, so yeah. But don't worry about that. This is where, well, Issei is right now sitting on the couch while having Aika next to him, or mostly just sitting on his mostly lap, and of course just kind of teasing her and cutting her, mostly cuddling with her, but yeah. And of course, to where it will, Issei did notice what's it called, well, he did manage to hear what's it called, Matsue and Murahama's talk, because he has seals all around, and of course, to where it will, he knows that, well, Matsue is gonna go to the church. Of course, he's not gonna stop him, he's actually gonna let him. That's where, well, Matsue, we go into Matsue's room. Matsue is right now changing, kind of putting a black kind of like, well, mostly, pretty much, he has what they call black pants, black sandals. There's a wear one. He has a black shirt underneath. Well, not black, it's mostly a white shirt, but don't worry about that. But he's wearing a black kind of coat. It's pretty long. It kind of goes all the way down towards his like knees, but yeah. And just wear, well, the black coat does have, well, it doesn't have a symbol. It's mostly just all black. Mostly all the clothes is all black. It doesn't really have a symbol of his clan. But of course, to wear, oh, he also, mostly this black coat does have a hood on it, and yeah. But he also did get a mask. But this is where, well, like a double mask, like a, what's it called, mask that's mostly a Japanese kind of face double mask, but don't worry about that. That's where, well, mostly also kind of like grabbed some stuff from mostly his, mostly closet. Even though his closet looks small, when he kind of just tap and kind of like does a hand sign to kind of release something, this is where the closet becomes bigger, and it seems to be like some kind of time, space, dimension place for him to get weapons, but yeah. Here's where, well, he gets 2 katanas, seals them in his hand, some shurikens, some kunais, metal ninja wire, and this is where, well, he just keeps getting a lot of stuff, but yeah. This is where, well, he gets 2 tontos, or mostly 4 tontos entirely, about like a good ton of kunais and shurikens, but yeah. This is where, well, he then looks to the side and does see a katana, but of course, this is where the katana has a crest symbol on it, but this is where, well, he then just kind of puts it, well, he grabs it, but then he just puts it back and just kind of like walks out. This is where, well, he only says to himself it's not really for battle, mostly an assassin mission, or a massacre you can say, he thinks in his head, but yeah. This is where, well, he gets ready until it becomes dark, so it can be much easier for him to blend into the darkness. If he goes right now, it would be kind of suspicious, but yeah. This is where, well, Matsui, well, what's it called? Matsui waits until it becomes dark. Of course, Aika had to go back home, and of course, she waves out. Of course, where it well, before she left, this is where it well, Issei did put some seals on her body, mostly on her hand. So if ever she wants to come back into mostly the house and not get barbecued by the fence, she just has to kind of use the hand that has the seal on it to kind of push the gate. But yeah, this is where, well, Aika smiles and says, thank you. This is where she kind of walks away, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei chuckles, and this is where Issei kind of goes back inside. Now, Issei has snowy white kind of, well, it's mostly snowy white hair, and of course, this is where his eyes are golden, but yeah, and he's kind of pale, mostly he has pale skin. So yeah, it's not like an original canon, it's more pale than normal. But yeah, don't worry about that. This is where, well, mostly it gets dark. This is where Issei goes to sleep. Also, well, what's it called, Murahama? But mostly he just sees Matsui off. This is where, well, what Hama says, well, I won't stop you and I won't go along with you, Matsui. This is where Matsui was about to leave. This is where, well, he does stop at the door, and of course, this is where, well, what Hama just says, but still, good luck. You will need it, Uchiha. This is where he just did it like an assaulting, teasing tone. This is where Matsui scoffs and says, screw you, Hyuga. This is where, they just chuckle, and then this is where, well, Matsui disappears in a body flicker. This is where a multi-fire body flicker. This is where, well, the Hyuga chuckles, Mosi, how should I say, what's it called, Morohama chuckles, and just walks away and goes inside to just go to sleep, but yeah. Or Mosi was already inside, but he just went to his room. This is where, Matsui gets into a forest, and this is where, well, he then just transformed his body into his Genjutsu self, just in the bald kind of self, but yeah. Just his bald self, so if anyone that he meets from school is out here randomly or whatever, they won't actually understand and why he's mostly out here. They would just think that he's being a pervert, doing something random. But yeah, this is where, well, not really just seeing anyone out here. Mostly if anyone question, mostly if they're like either some straight exorcist or straight devil, they won't actually think of him too much of a threat. But yeah, because he knows in his true form he looks more like a threat. He always has a very angry and aggressive face look, and he's always pissed the fuck off. Mostly in his Genjutsu form, it looks like he's just dumb and clueless. But yeah, this is where it will. He then gets into the forest. Of course, his clothes are changed into kind of being like a casual, not really casual, mostly kind of having like school uniform, but yeah. This is where, well, he goes into the forest, walking around, but of course we go into two people kind of getting close to the church, but not close enough, mostly staying far away, but yeah. Mostly a girl with brownish hair and brownish eyes, and another girl with pinkish hair, and of course, well, but this is where, well, mostly the pinkish hair girl kind of has like these brownish eyes, and of course, where, well, they have two swords mostly right next to them, and of course, they do kind of have a little bit of armor, but this is where, well, they're kind of just spying at the church. This is where, well, one of them says, so, Catherine, what do we do? This is where, well, the pinkish hair girl, now known as Catherine, says, Murayama, like, what's it called? Our master has told us pretty much just to spy the church and make sure that no crazy exorcist this time decides to go on a rampage and decides to kill someone randomly. This is where, well, the brownish hair girl named Mariyama nodded. This is where, well, mostly someone also kind of just spooked them a little bit, but this is where when they turn around, of course not drawing out their swords, just kind of hearing like a boo. This is where they turn around and sees a girl with kind of tannish skin, blackish hair, and of course is where, well, mostly this girl has dark brown hair, and of course her most noticeable kind of color of eyes are kind of these emerald green eyes. This is where, well, she also has mostly a noticeable, mostly noticeable, what's it called, kind of, well, body, because she has curve and other things. This is where, well, both Mariyama and also, what's it called, Catherine says, damn it, Hamaria, what the hell is wrong with you? This is where they said the girl's name. This is where she chuckles and says, oh, come on, it wasn't that bad. This is where, well, they just growl at her. But this is where, well, Mariyama just grins at them and says, so what did what's it called, Motsi, how should I say, what did, what's it called? This is where, well, she says, so what did Tanaka-san order you two to do? This is where, well, they said that they're basically just spying at the church just so no crazy exorcist this time will go rogue and go off and killing some things. This is where, well, I'm going to say, that's quite interesting. So I'll be here with you girls then. This is where, well, they say, great. I guess you're doing this out of, well, what's it called, your own master's orders. This is where, well, or not even orders, mostly you're just doing this because you want to. I'm going to say, pretty much, yeah. She smiles at basically some other girls from another master, but yeah. This is where, or another peerage. This is where, well, mostly Mariyama and also Catherine just sighs. Until they kind of notice one thing. This is where, well, they see, what's it called, two fallen angels, mostly they're flying around, but of course, they haven't noticed what's called, mostly the devils, and of course, the where, well, but they did stop somewhere after someone kind of walking out of the tree lines. This is where, well, what Moriyama, Catherine, and even Hamura kind of just, well, mostly gasped was none other than it was, well, Matsui, mostly the bald pervert. Now, of course, both the, what's it called, fallen angels, like, drop down. They have 3 wings, mostly each of them. They have, like, 3 sets of wings, basically having 6 wings in total. But, of course, it worked well. They say, halt there, you human. Do you know what exactly you're doing here? This is where, well, they won't kill the human, but mostly they will, because, well, they're fallen angels and they don't care. So says, oh, I'm sorry, I kind of got lost, I don't know where I'm at. Doesn't work well. Both Moriyama and even Catherine just sighing like, this idiot, he's going to literally kill himself. This is where Hamura was about to get up, but this is where, well, the 2 fallen angels just chuckle and says, how about you leave now and we won't actually, like, kill you. This is where, well, Matsui says, that would be good if I actually cared. This is where his voice changed from very friendly. Think of it like Obito, when Obito was kind of going like that kiddish kind of, well, act, and how he was like, I can't believe it! Oh no! He was like, when Black Zetsu says, Itachi has died, this is where Obito says, I can't believe it! Oh no! This is where he changes his voice, says, it was all part of my plan. So yeah, mostly Matsui's voice kind of changed that fast. This is where, well, mostly not saying those lines, but this is where he says, that would be nice if I care that much. This is where, well, he kind of opened his eyes and they were a little bit onyx color, but he always has them closed just because he doesn't want to just change his color of eyes. This mostly pisses him off if he really has to change his color of eyes. So of course he just keeps them on his color. So of course, well, both the fallen angels chuckles and says, oh, so you're being a cocky little brat, then die. This is where one of them swings a light spear, and of course it was going towards, well, Matsui, if Matsui even cared. He's just like, mostly, yeah, he kind of puts his head to the side, mostly the left side, and this is where the light spear literally just flies past him and smashes into the tree line. This is where, well, both of the fallen angels wind their eyes and say, what? No, it must be a fluke. This is where another fallen angel was about to try, until, well, Matsui appeared right in front of him, grabbing him in his arm before he can be used to light spear, right now snapping his arm, and this fallen angel screams, but before he even screams, he grabs, Matsui grabs this guy's mostly mouth and like throws him down the ground, mostly grabbing his head and like mouth together and just smashing him down to the ground, knocking him out. This is well, the fallen angel was about to get up again until he got his head stomped to the ground, mostly by Matsui. This is where, well, the fallen angel say, no! San. You want to call him San? No, San! He screams out for the other fallen angel, now known as San. This is where, well, the other fallen angel says, you bastard! I'll show you what you're messing with! You damn human! This is where, before he even says another word, like a fast swing from Matsui, and of course, where, well, the fallen angel's head was flying up in the air. Of course, where the fallen angel didn't know what happened. He was about like 1 second, like 1 second from like stabbing what's it called Matsui, but this where, well, with the light spear, but of course his head is now flying up in the air. He's confused until he falls down to the ground. His head just kind of rolls down on the ground. This is where he now noticed what happened. He's dead. This is where, well, what Matsui has in his hand is a kunai, a kind of bloody kunai that he kind of used against the fallen angel. This is where the other fallen angel that tries to get up right now gets his heart just pierced by the same kunai, but this time just thrown. This is where, well, the kunai stabs into the tree, right now having a bloody kind of, well, the kunai is all red. This is where all red and wet. This is where, well, the fallen angel couldn't react fast enough and of course falls forward and dies this time. This is where, well, Matsui says, pathetic, I say. This is where, well, Moriyama, Catherine, and even Hamura right now wind their eyes. How fast was Matsui did that, and without a care in the world. His expression all changed. It's mostly like a cold-blooded, just heartless murderer. This is where, well, the doors from the church bust through, and of course multiple mostly stray priests, kind of exorcist priests kind of appear. Mostly a bunch of exorcists. This is where, well, one person appears, and of course it's a crazy bastard named Freed, and of course where, well, Moriyama and even Catherine knows that it's Freed. This is where Freed said, huh? A human? Kill 2 fallen angels? That's quite interesting. You either might be a stray exorcist. No, but that doesn't make sense. You're using a kunai, and I have never heard of any exorcist use a kunai. No, you might be just a human. A human, but really skilled. You're not a devil. I can't sense any damn devil magic from you. So, what the hell are you exactly, kid? This is where he chuckles right now, being malicious and other things. This is where, well, Matsui looks at him, and of course smiles and says, "Oh, those two, they didn't really give me, what's it called? Instructions in actually slaughtering you all. So basically, I slaughter them." This is where Freed looks at, well, Matsui with these cackling cold eyes right now. Instead of being crazy, he actually has this weird feeling to actually get serious around Matsui. Matsui says, "But other than that, I'm going to have to slaughter you because you people won't tell me and where the nearest bastard's at." He's still being kind of childish a little bit. This is where Free says, "All of you." This is where he kind of said it sternly at the other exorcists, and everyone kind of widened their eyes after hearing Freed's kind of sternness instead of his crazy mind Uncle One. This is where, well, Freed says, "Get on guard. Don't let this kid fool you." This is where, well, Matsui grins, right now cracking this grin and saying, "Oh, I guess that all of you are actually going to take me serious. Well, then it's really no use for me to stay in this literally illusion then." This is where Matsui says release. Right now putting a hand sign right in front of him, releasing the Genjutsu, showing his true form. This is where, well, he looks like the form that he would have appeared earlier, but yeah. This is where, well, Matsui grins, having the double mask right now in front of him. Of course, where, well, the hood is right now over his head, so of course you can barely see it. His dark onyx eyes are literally piercing into everyone's soul. This is where, well, Matsui grins and says, "Well, let's start this dance then." Well, he says, "Well, my great-grandfather said," he kind of said that whisperly part, by mostly saying, "Let's start this dance." This is where, well, Free says, "Don't you mean fight?" This is where, well, Free couldn't react fast enough, but he almost got his head cut off. But luckily, another exorcist did get his head cut off. This is where Free managed to duck. He managed to kind of just like duck. This is where Freed was about to stab at Matsui if Matsui didn't just jump in the air and literally just kick someone down when literally he was about to land down. He kicked someone's head down, smashing them to the ground, still having 2 katanas on him. He does have 2 katanas. This is where, well, he kind of poofed them out with the illusion, but yeah, don't worry about that. This is where, well, he starts kind of slicing it and dicing, what's it called, half this ex-priest. And of course, where he's cutting their heads off in an instant without them even reacting fast enough. This is where some of them are trying to fight back, but they get just their heads easily cut. Arms, heads, even stab in the eye and then cut their heads off. This is where, well, Matsui is doing this so easy that both Moriyama, Catherine, and even what's called Hermiria are kind of just winding their eyes, seeing how, well, Matsui is doing this so easily. Like, he has done it before. Like, he slaughtered people before. He doesn't have mostly a hint of, what's it called, in his eyes, he doesn't even have a hint of hesitation. It looks like he doesn't care. He really doesn't care. This is where, well, he stabs one person in the heart and then stabs another person in the heart before he was about to get hit by a, what's it called, light sword. Mostly since he has both his hands crossed. And of course, where, well, he then lets go of his own swords just to grab this guy with the sword, mostly the light sword, grabbing his arm, grabbing him from the face, and then just breaking his arms off from the sword, mostly the light sword, and of course still having this guy from the face and then tossing him to some people. This is where he's now using the light sword to stab upon these people, but yeah, he doesn't care. He's using their own weapons against him. Since there's so many, there was about like 50 of them, now there's a good chance of only like 24 of them now. Freed is counting as one of them, but I'm not counting him right now. This is where, well, all the ex-priests are just scared and right now winding their eyes, seeing their comrades being slaughtered like it's nothing but just sheep versus a wolf. A wolf that's truly trying to slaughter them all. Literally not letting even a single person leave. Because some of them, they're trying to leave from this battle after seeing some comrades, like, what's it called, died in front of them. But of course, a kunai stabs upon their head, right now making them unable to leave. This is where, well, people notice that if they leave, they will die. If they stay, they will die. What to do? This person seems to be really skilled. This person grabs another sword from the ground, mostly another kind of a light source. Right now, activates it and rushes towards what's it called, the mostly enemy. This is where he uses the light sword to stab upon one in the neck, and then kind of uses the same light sword to swing around and just cut his head off. This is where he rushes and just stabbing them, kind of cutting them, stabbing them, murdering them. This is where most of everyone just realized they couldn't escape him. This is like a storm going straight through a town and just destroying everything, annihilating everything. This is where, Freed, the only thing he saw was just a fucking massacre. Something that he would love to do against devils, even fallen angels, it doesn't matter. He would love to do that. Even humans, he doesn't care. But of course, seeing this, someone that's so fucking young, he looks at what's it called, Matsui, and he knows that Matsui is young. He is not even at what's it called, his like adult years. He looks to be in his teenager's years. But yet, such a young boy can slaughter so many people without care in the world, without mercy, without hesitation, after taking his like first 10 kills. He doesn't care. It was like a monster that he just seen. A monster that literally just killed all his comrades, all his like what they call underlings. This is where Matsui drops both the light source that he had in his hand and goes to the people that had the katanas in their hearts. Right now, pulls them up, and this is where he then looks at Freed. Freed says, "You son of a bitch, you crazy son of a bitch. I don't know who you are, but you psychopath. Get away from me." He starts shooting light beams from a gun at Matsui. Now, of course, Matsui dodges to the right, left, mostly dodging his head, but yeah, mostly just moving it. This is where Freed says, "Die, die, die. Just get away from me." This is where Matsui says, "Get away? No, can't do." This is where Matsui swings both of his hands as an X, mostly upwards. But this is where Freed's arms are right now cut off. Freed's like, "Ah, you mother!" This is where before he even gets to say anything, the sword was shoved into his mouth in an instant. This is where Freed couldn't say anything else. This is where he's coughing up blood from the mouth, and that's where Matsui finished that line. "Oh, were you gonna call me a son of a bitch? Sorry, but aren't you the son of a bitch? You're already the one who's being dead. I should leave you like this, shouldn't I? I should leave you right now struggling. Both your arms are cut. You're going to bleed to death. I should, let you die in such a painful way, shouldn't I?" This is where, his voice is so gentle but so cold and murderous. This is where, mostly 3 of the girls that are right now watching this are just getting chills on their spine. This is where, it's so gentle but such cold, murderous intent behind the gentle words. It's like he was It's like if he was talking about the fucking weather, but really, pretty much, it's like a voice that you will hear on a daily basis, but it has so much fucking anger, bloodlust, and just so much of it behind all those words. So where, Freed tries to beg for forgiveness. That's where, Matsui says, "No, I won't forgive you." This is where, Freed realized he couldn't scream, but if he could, he would have screamed because both his legs were cut off in an instant. This is where, Matsui didn't care. This is where Matsui then just puts the 2 legs and just stabbed him upon with the katana, putting them on the ground. But yeah, this is where, Matsui decides to go inside now. This is where, he goes inside just to deal with the remaining fallen angels, or whatever there is inside there. This is where, about 30, well, not even 30 minutes, mostly 10 minutes of shock, mostly from the girls who are watching this, just shocked. This is where something exploded from the church, right now launching someone out. This is where the person gets launched out, of course showing his hair now. Of course, thanks to the hood is falling down, and of course, this is where his hair is shown to be black. And of course, his face mask is all cracked. But of course, he also did have bandages on his forehead. But don't worry about that. He just had them because he doesn't care. This is where, Matsui, he then pulls out a cigarette and starts smoking that shit. And this is where, Matsui says, "Damn, you're a tough fucking son of a bitch." This is where he literally says that because, well, you see here, he doesn't care if he cusses or not. This is where, well, the person who flies out is a fallen angel with 5 wings, mostly 10 wings in total. This is not Coco Bell, it's another fallen angel that has actually had like 10 wings in total. This is where this fallen angel says, "You little shit. You slaughter every fucking person that was under me. Damn it, how is Coco Bell going to start a war now? Damn it, if I lose here, I will be such a disgrace. I'm going to have to just slaughter you, damn little shit." This is where, well, that's the way he grins and says, "Huh? Slaughter me?" This is where Matsui starts laughing like a maniac. And this is where, well, mostly, what's it called, the girls are shocked to see Matsui's actually true look-alike face, because he had the illusion and then he just switches towards his true form. But of course, they basically couldn't see like his face in general, thanks to the mask, the demonic mask, and basically by his hood. But seeing his hair is actually really dark. It's pretty much like pitch black. It's like the midnight sky right now. But of course, well, his onyx eyes makes it a little bit much better. But yeah. But of course, well, his face is much more smoother and other things. So where, well, the girls are starting to fall in love for, well, what's it called, Matsui. But of course, well, the cigarette kind of makes it a little bit like more like a bad boy kind of vibe. Mostly something that I could kind of also felt while seeing Matsui. Mostly this morning, but yeah. And so where, well, Matsui says, "Huh, so you're going to try to kill me? Well, you can try. So I suggest, come on, fight me then." Right now in the distance, we kind of go into mostly a man that's right now flying, or mostly on top of a building, or not on top of a building, on a tree right now, still having his wing kind of flying. But of course, where he's seeing this, he has golden bangs and of course blackish hair. Of course, has these like purplish, violent eyes, and of course, where, well, he has a structure of a face to look like he's in his 30s, or even kind of like in his 30s, or even late 20s. But yeah, this is where, well, he then has someone next to him with kind of black hair, and of course, a man that does have a beard, and of course a mustache, and has black hair. He has both of his eyes closed, but of course is standing next to the man who is right now on top of a tree. Of course, where he has lightning crackling around him and saying, "Should I go, Azo?" He kind of said, the man next to him. This is where, well, Azo says, "No, what's it called?" He says, "No, Barakil, I want to see how the human handles himself." This is where, well, 2 other people are flying next to him. Of course, someone with like whitish, bluish wings, of course having whitish hair and golden eyes. And of course, it's mostly like a male, and next to him is mostly a girl with kind of blackish hair and violet purple eyes, similar to that of the older man, mostly named Azel. This is where, well, mostly the whitish hair too says, "Seriously, Azel, can I not go down there? I would love to easily kill the fallen angel. It's not that bad. I can easily do it." This is where, Azel says, "Folly, calm down." This is where, well, the girl says, "Why am I here?" This is where, well, as a switch off, that says, I only brought you here just to tell me about information about the, well, spy network of like how you managed to get into, well, Coco Bell and his army. Mostly the information that I wanted to know." This is where, well, the girl kind of says, "Seriously, but I already did this on a report file. You can actually go read it." This says, "But I want to hear my lovely daughter named Rainer tell me all about it." This is where, well, he kind of acts a little childish a little bit about it. This is where, well, Volley kind of snickered. This is where, well, Rainer kind of glares, and even just glares at Azo and Volley. This is where Baruka is just watching this and saying, "I wonder how that child's going to be doing. He's literally just smoking a cigarette. Isn't that really bad for humans?" He kind of just said. This is where Volley said, "If he's human in the first place, I can't feel sacred gear from him, but still, he looks stronger than normal." This is where, well, the girl with mostly blackish hair, this is where dropping and saying, "I don't even know how that human is dealing with the fallen angel with 10 wings. Father, why won't you just let Barakil-Khan just help the human?" This is where, well, Azo kind of says, "Because I want to see how the human can handle this. And besides, if anything happens, it will be on me, okay?" I will do something. I'll reincarnate him into a fallen angel. If you're so worried about that, I'll also make him your like boyfriend or something. This is where Rainer blushes and says, "Shut up! No, I don't want that." This is where Volley just snickers again. This is where Rainer says, "If you snicker one more time, you son of a bitch, I'm going to stab you with a light spear. I know how much a light spear hurts you." This is where Volley says, "Oh, you can try, but I might just divide in an instant before you can even try. You little brat." This is where they're arguing. This is where, mostly Asa just kind of watches and says, "God, having children sucks." He kind of whispers that. This is where, Baryoke says, "Well, at least you can see your children. One of mine literally fucking hates me. Literally hates my existence." This is where he whispers that also, but yeah. This is where, we go into someone kind of being next to a red hair beauty, and of course, she's serving tea towards her master, and this is where she just sneezes out of nowhere, thinking that someone's literally talking about her. This is where, the red haired girl says, "Are you okay, Akano? Are you sick or something?" This is where Akano says, "No, I'm fine." This is where, and she basically waves off Ria's Grimory, and of course, where Ria's kind of said, "Okay." This is where, we go back into Matsui kind of dealing with the fallen angel. This is where the fallen angel is sending light spears that could easily crush people and destroy them in an instant. And those light spears are literally they're much more faster than the three-winged angels that, Matsui literally fought against. But yeah, this is where Matsui's easily managed to dodge him. And of course, where, the biggest problem right now is that this motherfucker's flying up in the air right now, throwing light spears at him. This is where, Matsui says, so the biggest plan is to go into the forest. This is where Matsui goes into the forest right now, running away from the fallen angel. The fallen angel right now chases him, but of course loses Matsui in an instant. This is where he's like, "Son of a bitch, how the hell did I lose him?" This is where, mostly the three girls are still watching this, but of course they're just watching this from a secrecy because they don't want to be discovered by the 10 angel winged person, but of course are still shocked where Matsui even went because his magic signature was there and then it disappears. This is where, the fallen angel wing kind of like appears on the ground, and of course where he finds Matsui kind of just sitting next to a tree, and this is where he's laying upon it. This is where he's catching his breath and saying, "Damn, you're pretty strong, but pretty stupid at the same time." Mostly the fallen angel says, "What do you say? You little brat! I was going to talk to you, but then now I'm going to just kill you." This is where, Matsui ends until this is where, this little shiny thing appears on Matsui's finger. This is where, or mostly his finger, and then he then shows his hand kind of having these wires, these threads. This is where, the fallen angel was confused, but he saw that because, he saw the threads thanks to the moonlight kind of just glistening on the wires, and this is where he then kind of looks around until he realizes he fallen into a trap. Because when Matsui pulls the, threads towards himself, this is where, a bunch of threads appear all around the fallen angel. This is where his wings are literally trapped upon. This is where he says, "What are you doing? No! Do you not know? No, don't you dare, you brat!" This is where, Matsui says, "What do you think I'm gonna be doing? I know what you want. I know that you don't want a war to happen. Maybe one of the three fucking factions might have sent you." This is where, Matsui then hears war. He then narrows his eyes and says, "War? Huh. What an interesting thing, but no, I'm not looking for war. I'm just here to slaughter because I want to." This is where, the fallen angel looks at him, tries to look for any detection, but then just sees that there's none. This is where Matsui says, "But your wings makes it such a troublesome thing, so let me get rid of them." This is where, the fallen angel says, "No!" This is where, Matsui had his hands mostly clenched, but not into a fist just yet. This is where he clenches him, and this is where he moves his, hand mostly to the side, mostly, swings it to, the side, like if, not Blackbeard, like if Whitebeard was about to do, a quick fist up in the air, but yeah. This is where, Matsui does the same motion like Whitebeard, and of course, when he kind of hits the air, this is where, you just hear this snap, and these just rip and blood gushing out. This is where, the fallen angel, you then just hear him scream so loud. It's so deaf, mostly deaf hearing. This is where Azo and even Baryoke and even Volley and Rainer kind of just clenches their ears. This is where, even the devils who are actually watching clenches their ears. This is where the fallen just says, "You son of a bitch! This is where he screams so loud until he got a black rod stab upon his arm, right now smashing him into a tree. A pretty large tree. This is where, well, he's like, you motherfucker! This is where, well, he then looks up and sees Masui walking towards him without a care in the world, and of course the threads are right now having blood and wings and feathers just falling down, and of course the fallen angel is nothing seeing but fear in his eyes. He just has fear seeing Masui walk slowly towards him, having cold dead eyes. And this is where Masui then has this malicious grin in his face. Oh, did I hurt you too bad, my little crow? Don't worry about it. It'll be all over. I just want some little bit of information then. This is where something appears underneath what's it called, mostly like something appears mostly out of what's it called, his hand. Mostly Matsui's right hand, like a rod, like a black rod. Before the fallen angel can even try to rip out the other black rod that stabs upon his like shoulder, his left shoulder, he tries to grab with his right hand. But this is where, well, his right shoulder was stabbed upon, and he's now just stuck to a tree. This is where I say, "You son of a bitch!" He screams at what's it called, Matsui, saying, "Get away from me, you damn monster!" This is where, well, Matsui says, "Shh, shh, 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 shh. I don't want my, what's it called, victim," he says coldly towards the fallen angel. The fallen angel goes, "To scream out too loud. Besides, we're basically just starting the fun. The most fun that I will have in a long time." This is where he has a evilish grin in his, what's it called, mostly mouth. This is where, well, the fallen angel says, "What the hell do you want?" "I want information on this war shit then." "I knew it, you were from the three great..." You stab in the stomach. This is where, well, Matsui says, I'm not. But I still want to know about this war thing. Maybe I can sell out for information. You know, mostly the three great factions will probably be on my ass later. So I want to use this information. Just in case if I A, either has to sell it for money, or B, heavy, just funny, just to use it against them. This is where, well, this fallen angel just glares at Matsui with hatred in his eyes. This is where he then shuts his mouth and says, "I'm not telling you shit." Matsui looks at him. Sorry about burping, but this is where, well, Matsui looks at him and says, "Okay, let's just start the torture." This is where he gets stabbed upon another time. This is where the fallen angel is screaming in just agony and pain, and blood is dripping down from the tree, soaking the tree to become a crimson red tree. But this is where, well, the fallen angel says, "Stop it. Just stop it." This is where he's trying to stop Matsui. Matsui says, "Are you going to tell me now?" This is where, well, the fallen angel says, "Go to hell." "Fine. How about this? I'll let you live, but you won't be living, well, you won't be going home without some, well, jewels." This is where he pulls out a sword and says, "I'm gonna cut them off of you." This is where the fallen angel says, "No, please, then tell me. How about this? I'll let you live, and I won't cut them off your body, if you tell me all what I need to know." The fallen angel says, "Fine. You win." He's right now just breathing out really hard. This is where, well, he tells Matsui a lot of information. He did tell the fallen angel to literally be quiet, so mostly the devil or the fallen angel won't be able to hear him. And this is where, well, after, well, the fallen angel literally telling Matsui everything, Matsui nodded and says, "Good, then I'll be leaving." This is where, well, he then left. But of course, when he was walking out of what's it called, the forest, this is where, well, when he was walking out of the forest and just going home by doing, well, almost doing a body flicker, he then just put something up to his face. Mostly, what's it called? A hand sign. Kai. This is where, well, he said the word Kai. And of course, we go into mostly, when he said the word Kai, something exploded in the background. But of course, he didn't do a body flicker. But we go before he said any of that. We go into mostly the fallen angel. Right now, breathing out really hard. Trying to get out, but his magic. He can't push out the rods. It's like it notifies the magic at all. It's where he says, "Whatever it is, the crazy son of a bitch." This is where something appears right in front of him. A 10-winged, or not even 10-winged, mostly a 12, well, is it 12-winged? Wait, let me remember. a 12-winged fallen angel appears right in front of him. This is where it has golden bangs and black hair behind it. But this is where, well, he says, Azo. He kind of said the word. Right now, being kind of rough and other things, his voice being also very tired. This is where, well, Azo says, hello there. He then says, hello there, Sheen. This is where, well, what's it called? A 10-winged winged kind of fallen angel appear next to what's it called, Azo, and also a 3-winged female, and also the White Dragon Emperor. That's where, well, the fallen angel looks at what's it called, Azo, and mostly not 12-winged, mostly the like broken fallen angel whose named Shin. This is where, well, he looks at Azo and says, "What do you need, my lord?" This is where, well, Azo says, I want information on Coco Bill. I know you told that kid, and what's information, so tell me. This is where, well, and Azo says, and I won't punish you if you tell me. This is where, well, the fallen angel decides to tell, was about to start telling what's it called, Azo, until something started sizzling. And this is where, well, Azo and the others were confused until, well, we go into mostly Matsui Kai. This is where, well, kaboom! The tree exploded and everything that was right next to the tree would have also exploded if it wasn't for, what's it called, Azo right now reacting fast enough and making a shoe, and also, what's it called, Volley screaming out, divide, divide! This is where trying to get rid of much energy, so much kinetic energy, so one actually spreads and tries to attack them. This is where, well, Rainer was kind of being blocked by mostly Barry Q, who is right now using his wings and also using his lightning magic to try to protect the daughter of the fallen angels. This is where, well, they were just shocked. But of course, this is where, well, the 3 devils were also shocked because they were close enough, well, trying to get close to them, but of course, seeing the explosion, this is where they just had to use their own magic to teleport, or mostly just teleport far from them. This is where, well, the explosion left a very, very huge crater there. Of course, this is where the rods that were there were right now just turned to dust, and of course, the fallen angel's body is all kind of messed up. It's just really just turning over into black dust. This is where, well, Elsa says, damn it! Still. This is where, well, Elsa kind of scoffs and gets angry, but then he then says, still, that kid is so interesting. I really want him to go on our side. Rainer, I need you to seduce him. This is where he says, and this is where Rainer was already passed out, thanks to the fact that the heat kind of got to her a little bit, but yeah. This is where, well, Folly says, seriously, you're going to ask this about to seduce him. This is where Elsa says, hey, the kid's dangerous. We gotta get him on our side. This is where, well, Folly says, yeah, good luck with that. How about you befriend him, Folly? This is where Folly turns around and says, he flips off Elsa and says, fuck no. He then flies off, but yeah. This is where Berko says, it's a really good idea to literally try to use your daughter to seduce him. No, but I know, really piss her off. This is where, well, he then chuckles and just laughs, and this is where Berko says, yeesh, he just switch off, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into months we kind of get into his house, but yeah. We go into a week time skip of about 2 weeks because, well, mostly all 3 of them hasn't really went to school because they don't feel like it. They didn't give a damn. This is where Matsui did explain towards the call, Murahama and even Issei about what's it called, war, like a war of fallen angels might happen near future, but yeah. From the fact that he got from a fallen angel. And of course, where, well, Murahama or Issei didn't really scold at him about him fighting a fallen angel with 10 wings because they know how strong he is. Of course, where, well, Murahama did tease him saying, so did you use your, Sharingans? This is where he kind of asked. This is where, well, Mostly Matsui just scoffs and says, why the fuck would I need that against some weaklings? I don't use it. I'm never going to use it. This is where, well, Issei chuckles and says, you might have to use it one day, I'm not saying you need to use it every time, but I'm just saying. This is where, well, mostly Matsui says, he just scoffs and says, I won't need it, okay? I'm not going mad. I won't ever use it. I will never go mad and just try to kill you guys. That's why I will never fucking use it. I won't be like that motherfucker. He then cusses out. This is where, well, both Matsui, or not Matsui, both Murahama and Issei's face literally softened, and they just kind of calmed down Matsui so he won't get angrier. But yeah, because they know about the tragic story about his family and his clan. That's where, well, the reason why there's only remaining clan members like what's it called, Matsui, Murahama, and Issei is because of an incident that might have happened. But yeah, a couple of incidents, mostly through their clans. But yeah, but this is where, well, Matsui kind of had it the worst because there was someone protecting him before someone really slaughtering, well, the person that protected him with his life. But yeah, and told, well, Matsui to run. But yeah, this is where, well, Matsui, Murahama, and Issei are thinking of just going to school, but of course in their illusion form. So yeah, this is where, well, we go into mostly the next day, but yeah, since it's been 2 weeks, they kind of go into the next day, or mostly after the weekend, mostly on Monday, but yeah, to go to school, but they're in their illusions. Now, of course, where, well, Matsui kind of goes off. This is where Murahama also kind of goes to class with Issei, but this is where, well, Matsui is right now just thinking, because this is where it was mostly, well, mostly a certain day it might be coming up later, but yeah. This is where, well, he is right now just thinking and just saying, well, let me say that again. He is thinking up in the roof. He kind of just been ditching me, but yeah, he's just ditching the whole thing. But of course, he's just like looking outside, mostly into the park. Of course, this is where the fence, he's kind of grabbing the fence, and just holding on, just thinking. But of course, there were a couple of people who were kind of watching him through the door. Now, of course, there were, well, mostly someone with blondish hair and blue eyes, who's the knight of Freya's Grimoire. Yes, Kiba's there. Sanji is there because Sanji is still pissed because he just got his ass kicked by Murahama, but Murahama, this isn't Murahama, this is Matsui. Kiba's also still very pissed. But yeah, this is where, well, two girls are watching what's it called. Well, not even two girls, mostly a total of what's it called, mostly, yeah. 4 girls are kind of spying on what's it called, well, Matsui, behind the door, but yeah. But of course, one is kind of blondish. Of course, mostly she's like the rook of mostly a queen. But yeah, one of the 4 Onisans. Of course, a girl with black or dark brown hair and of course greenish eyes, Hermeria, and of course 2 other kind of mostly knights of being, well, from what's it called? Takana, yeah, Takana. This is where, well, mostly being the 2 knights. And of course, mostly being, what's it called? Catherine and Moriyama. But yeah. This is where, well, the blonde hair girl is kind of new, but of course, she's just fine because mostly her leader literally asked for it. But yeah. But of course, the where, well, so the knight of, what's it called? Grimoire is there. The 4 pawn of, what's it called? Sona's there. Mostly, Hermeria is from what's it called? She's a knight. And also, what's it called? Blonde hair girl is Rook, being from the same kind of group. And of course, the where, well, 2 knights from Takana is also there. But yeah, this is where, well, they're kind of watching, well, Murahama to see if he would do anything crazy. But yeah, well, pretty much it's been a boring day until something interesting happened when they came back from lunch. But yeah, they're seeing, well, Matsui right now talking to someone and kind of yelling at the person. The person's right now on top of the fence and kind of chuckling and saying, well, what's it called? Well, mostly he's chuckling and laughing at, well, Matsui, but yeah. This is where, well, that is happening, and of course, where, well, we go into Matsui and his POV and what is happening. This is where someone appears after a while. He didn't really go to lunch or anything. He's just been up here, just chilling, just thinking about a lot of things. But of course, well, someone started talking, saying, "So, little brother, it's been a while." That's where an older man with kind of blackish hair appears, of course, having onyx eyes. Of course, wearing a black outfit, mostly a black kind of coat outfit. And of course, well, he kind of just looks at what's it called, Matsui. Also, kind of having a symbol behind him, mostly the Uchiha crest. But of course, well, he's chuckling in seeing, well, Matsui. He also does have a headband right now on his head. Does have also Uchiha crest, but yeah. But this is where he's chuckling and seeing Matsui. This is where his Genjutsu form. This is where, well, Matsui, he looks up and says, you son of a bitch! He screams out right now, angry and frustrated and hating this person who just appeared. This is where, well, we go into mostly now Matsui screaming at him. What are you doing here, you son of a bitch? What did it? Where the hell have you been for the last 14 fucking years? Tell me, you mother. This is where, well, the person chuckles and says, wow, you're very saying some lovely words to me. You know, you're pretty angry. Why are you so angry, though? This is where, well, Matsui kind of screams out, why I'm so angry? Why am I so angry? This is where they managed to crack the door a little bit open. Of course, Matsui didn't notice this, but of course the other dude did notice, the older looking version of Matsui, but yeah. Mostly, what's it called? This is how they look like, but yeah. So this is how mostly this Genjutsu form looks like, mostly where the icon is at, mostly this. Of course, this is mostly Masui's kind of Genjutsu form. Of course, where, well, this is how Masui kind of looks like, mostly out of his Genjutsu form, but yeah. And this is how the person looks like who's right now on top of the fence. Right now, he looks like an older version of literally Matsui, but yeah. Of course, where, well, the person chuckles and says, aw, do you miss me, Matsui-san? Or Matsui-kun? This is where Matsui says, miss you? Miss you? I fucking despise you! Matsui screams in anger and frustration. This is where, well, he already has his eyes right now open. Even in his Genjutsu form, it's truly his true eyes. But of course, he's fucking having fury and anger in his eyes. This is where, well, mostly the other person says, aw, you're saying such kind words to me. Fuck you, Kuro. This is where he screams out the now known Kuro. Mostly, yeah. The now known Kuro to be, well, the older brother of Matsui. This is where, well, Kuro chuckles and smiles and says, aw, such mean and spiteful words, Matsui. Damn, I didn't expect you to have such a mouthful. Just angry at me. Why so angry at me, Matsui? He's breathing out really hard. This is where, well, Kuro then asks him again, why so? This is where before he even says anything else, he had to dodge the left with his neck, because if he didn't, his neck or mostly his head would get a kunai stab upon it. This is where, well, Kuro grins and just smiles at, well, Matsui. He then appears right in front of Matsui right now, sending a powerful knee into Matsui's stomach. This is where, well, he falls down to the ground, Matsui. This is where, well, Kuro says, that's not pretty nice of you to do, little brother. This is where, oh, Matsui says, go to hell. This is where, well, Kuro looks at him and says, I should pretty much, you know what? I should probably do what mostly mom should have done a long time ago. Make you a good boy, shouldn't I? Matsui looks at him. This is where he gets his stomach kicked in. This is where, well, Matsui screams out and says, fucking son of a bitch. This is where, well, Kuro says, no, little brother, you shouldn't be cussing. Besides, this is school grounds. I should be punishing you for cussing. This is where he was about to attack Matsui until Matsui mostly kind of launched from the ground trying to uppercut, what's it called, Kuro. Kuro jumps away and says, no, little brother, you shouldn't be fighting back against your older brother, should you? This is where, well, Matsui is grabbing his stomach right now, feeling like he get his ribs kind of cracked. He then looks at, what's it called, Kuro, and saying, fuck you, you son of a bitch. This is where, well, Kuro smiles and says, aw, why do you hate me so much? Why? He's grinning at, what's it called, Matsui. Matsui, he keeps getting angry. His eyes are blazing with nothing but fury and anger in his eyes. This is where, well, Kuro says, aw, let me help you a little bit, little brother. This is where his hand was slapped away, and this is where Matsui sent a punch right towards, what's it called, Kuro. Kuro managed to grab it and twist his hand. This is where Matsui screams in pain, saying, you mother. This is where, well, Kuro says, ah, are you wincing? You know, this actually gives me good memories of when we were younger. I swear, well, Matsui grit his teeth and just show his fangs at Uchiha. Kuro says, you shouldn't be doing that to, your older brother. Come on. I'm not such a bad... This is where, well, Matsui managed to twist his hand out of what's called mostly Kuro's grasp. But of course, where he did kind of have to twist it back and kind of snap it back to place. But this is where Matsui says, you're no fucking brother of mine. You are a monster. You killed my fucking clan. He screams out nothing but venom and anger straight towards Kuro. Kuro grins and says, oh, I only did that for your own sake. No, you didn't. You killed everyone. You killed even Uncle. You killed Uncle Obito. Mostly there was a Uncle, mostly Matsui was pretty much very close with his uncle. He was pretty close with his family and his clan, but of course his uncle was mostly named Obito. He was a descendant from Obito Uchiha a long time ago. But of course, well, he screams at what's it called? He screams at Kuro about Obito, and this is where, well, he's screaming at him, you killed him in cold blood and took his fucking eyes. Why? This is where, well, Kuro smiles and grins, because I wanted his eyes. I wanted more power. Is it really bad for me to ask for more power? This is where, well, he grins and what's it called? Matsui. This is where, well, Matsui, his illusion's right now transforming out of, well, he's mostly transforming out of his illusion because he's trying to add more chakra to try to heal his wounds. But of course, this is where he transformed out of it. Of course, right now wearing regular clothes and not the school uniform. He's wearing a black long sleeve like this, a white kind of collar shirt being underneath, being a long sleeve also. But yeah, wearing gray pants, and of course just grinding his teeth out as a car. Well, his older brother, Kuro. Kuro kind of smiles and says, "Aw, so, are you here to finally, what's it called?" Well, he says, mostly, Kuro says, so, I have heard that a situation might have happened a while ago. And I'm surprised, little brother. You didn't use your eyes even once. Why haven't you used them? This is where, well, Matsui grit his teeth and says, why the fuck should I use them? If I use them, I will become just like you, and I refuse to become like you. This is where, well, Kuro kind of grins at him and kind of just, well, looks at Matsui with his evil smirk and says, "Aw, so if you think you're using your eyes will make you become like me. That's quite interesting. And if I make you use them, what will happen to you?" "I will never fucking use them," Matsui said. "Why not?" "Because I won't be like you. I'm nothing like you. I'm not a fucking psycho murderer who dares to only just kill those that he loves. You son of a..." I swear, well, Kuro kind of looks at what's it called, Matsui, and says, "So if I make you use them, you're going to just be like me. Huh. Will you go psycho and kill everyone you love? Let's think about, well, this is where Kuro says, who should I kill? I can't kill, well, Murahama or Issei, because they are basically, well, already mostly being chased after by their own siblings." This is where, well, Matsui grabs his teeth and says, "What? Oh, you didn't hear?" "Yes. You know, Issei's older brother, and yes, Murahama's older brother is going after their younger brothers. So I can't easily kill them. And I can't kill Aika because Aika is basically Issei's problem. So, and I can't kill any person you're close with because you're basically your greatest idea is to be a pervert, a bald pervert that will push any girl and any guy away. And that was your biggest, well, mostly your biggest, well, not flaw, mostly a great plan. And how you basically aren't close with anyone in the school, which sucks for me. I can't kill them. I can't make you use your eyes. The eyes you were blessed with. I'm so sad. But still, what should I do? Well, I could always make you fight to the death and make you activate them. This is where, well, Matsui says, you can use it. You can fight me to the death all you want to. I'll never use them. I'll never be like you. I'll never be such a cold-blooded fucking murderer like you. This is where he's cussing at his older brother. Kuro kind of just smiles at him, saying, "Oh, really? Okay." This is where he poofed 2 swords out of nowhere, mostly thanks to using ninjutsu. And this is where, he just grins at what's it called, mostly Matsui, and Matsui says, "Shit." This is where, Kuro appears right in front of him, right now having his eyes activate. His eyes are basically the red Sharingan. A normal kind of red Tomoe Sharingan, but yeah. Mostly the black Tomoes and of course red, but yeah. This is where he swings the sword down, and this is where Matsui couldn't react fast enough because he did get his chest cut in, but this is where he didn't kind of react fast enough after kind of getting his chest cut. This is where by his brother. This is where his brother says, "Come on, Matsui." This is where he then gets punched in the face by Matsui. And Matsui says, "Fuck you, you son of a bitch." This is where Matsui's older brother kind of gets pushed back, and of course Kuro says, "Ah, that hurt it, like a bitch." This is where he kind of uses his left hand to kind of push some of the blood out of his mouth and kind of spits out some blood and maybe a tooth, and then realizes that he doesn't have his sword with him. This is where he looks up and sees Matsui having the sword. This is where, Matsui is kind of looking around now. This is where he has a sword with him, but he knows he isn't actually strong enough. He knows his weaknesses and his, mostly strengths. He knows he's not strong enough to go against his older brother. He's looking around, and this is where, Kuro notices it. "Oh, are you trying to escape from me? You know, that's pretty bad. You shouldn't be escaping from your older brother. Come on, Matsui. You should be staying with me." This is where, Matsui rushes at his older brother. Right now swinging his sword to try to clash with his older brother, which they both clash, but this is where he gets his stomach kicked in by Kuro. Kuro smashes him to the ground. "You know, you're pretty bad. You're a bad boy. You know that? Matsui-kun? I should punish you for your mouthful, very cursing mouth, and of course, for all the things that you have been saying towards me." That's where, Matsui, he then sees the door, and he does notice there people behind him. So of course, this is where, he gets up and throws his sword fast enough towards the door. This is where, Kuro didn't do anything, but of course, where the sword kind of smashes through a window and stab upon the wall. This is where everyone widened their eyes. But of course, where they notice that it might be a sign to start kind of running. Well, mostly getting towards downstairs. So of course, they get downstairs. But of course, they're mostly about to get towards their kind of kings and queens. But yeah, to kind of warn them about this person named Kuro and Matsui being really hurt. This is where, Matsui, he then had to take the chance. This is where, he rushes towards his older brother. But this is where his older brother was swinging the sword. This is where, Matsui had to duck down, mostly kind of slide past him. But this is where he gets his back cut. This is where he gets to the door. Of course, this is where he opens it. But of course, he is literally bleeding from the front of his chest and also the back. This is where, Kuro says, "Oh, brother. No, damn it. I only let you escape. You managed to escape me." This is where he has blood in his sword. And of course, seeing his brother just walk down the stairs, almost to get past the doors and of course running down. This is where he gets his sword. Of course, where, he's kind of getting down the stairs. He falls down after a while, kind of trying to run away from mostly the stairs. But of course, he falls down, of course, getting up. And this is where, a vortex appears down the hallway. This is where, Matsui says, "You son of a bitch. Why won't you just leave me alone?" This is where, Kuro says, "Because I need you to use those eyes. I want you to use those eyes. I want you to show me all the hatred you have in your eyes. You're still holding back." This is where he rushes at, Matsui with the sword. Right now having a kind of this gleam of this smile and psychopath look in his eyes. And of course having this grin in his face. This is where he didn't notice, but there's a yellow gauntlet about to punch him in the face. Which he didn't notice, but of course gets punched in the face and right now launched into a couple of mostly lockers. This is where, he indented it and of course he falls down to the ground. This is where he gets up and says, "Ow! Ow, I think I broke." Blah. He spits out another tooth and says, "Ow, damn it! You little fucking whore." This is where, well, a blondish haired girl appears, having purple eyes, and of course, this is where, well, Matsui noticed that this is none other than Yang, mostly a girl that's mostly from one of the four Onisan's kind of peerage. But of course, this is where, well, Matsui says, "What are you doing here?" This is where he screams at Yang. This is where Yang kind of ignores him, but this is where, well, mostly with Kuro gets up and says, "You really want to die. Actually, I could kill you and make Matsui get angry at me. Yes, that's what I can do." This is where he rushes at Yang, but this is where a sword clashes upon him. This is where it's none other than Kiba. This is where Kiba says, "I won't let you hurt the lady." This is where, well, Kuro says, "Aren't you that little night boy? Wait, now I know who you are." This is where he grins after realizing who Kiba is. "You're that one person from that, how should I say, Excalibur." This is where, well, Kiba wanted his eyes gritting his teeth at what's it called, Kuro. This is where Kuro grins and says, "Ooh, you have hatred also." This is where, well, he had to dodge swords behind him, which he kind of kicks Kiba in the stomach, pushing him away, and then swinging his sword, trying to take off the heads of what's it called, Catherine and what's it called, Mariyama, because they weren't fast enough to block or dodge. This is where, well, Masu appears, so now blocking the swords. This is where, well, he blocks using his sword, mostly having the sword in his mouth, blocking it because he's still holding onto his chest. And this is where, well, so he basically did a Zoro and kind of block what's it called, a strike from actually not hitting what's it called, Catherine or Mariyama. And this is where he then grabs Mariyama's hand, takes the sword, mostly managed to slip it out of her hand and grabbing her sword. Of course, this is where he ducks down, lets go of the sword out of his mouth, and tries to swing with Mariyama's sword, or not Mariyama, mostly Catherine's sword at what's it called, Kuro. Kuro jumps back and says, "You're pretty fast, little brother." This is where, well, he grins, but this is where he almost gets his leg grabbed by mostly none other than what's it called, well, Sanji. This is where, well, he says, "Oh no you don't, Dragon Boy. I'm not letting you kind of grab me. I know what that shit can do." This is where he had to dodge 3 swords from a girl behind him. And this is where, well, he then jumps away. This is where Kuro says, "I wasn't expecting so many devils to literally try to get me." Look at that, Matsui. You're protected by devils. Isn't this such a disappointment? Aren't you a disappointment to our clan? "Shut the hell up," Matsui said angrily. "Oh, how about this? Who should I kill?" This is where, well, he's trying to look through anywhere and sees Catherine. Of course, where, well, Matsui seems to be trying to protect her right now because she doesn't have a sword. This is where, well, I see. I'll kill you instead. This is where he throws something so fast at what's it called, Catherine, but Catherine couldn't dodge or block it. But this is where Matsui uses his arm to block it. It was none other than a Senbon. This is where Matsui screams in pain. This is where, well, it was kind of injected with poison, and this is where, well, not poison. It was injected with poison, but of course it won't kill. It was injected, well, not poison, no. It was injected with holy light, kind of a poison that was poisonous to devils. But of course, it won't hurt, what's it called, or kill, Matsui. Matsui falls onto the ground. He's trying to get up, but this is where, well, he feels kind of numb. His body is kind of rejecting him because he lost too much blood. This is where Matsui's like, "Damn it, you son of a bitch." This is where, in his eyes, in his last-ditch effort, his eyes transform. They transform into the Sharingan. But this is where the 2 different color of Sharingans appear. Mostly, this is his right eye that appears. Mostly a silverish color of Tomoe's, but being crimson red color. But yeah, mostly the crimson red outline. But yeah, this is where, well, Kuro kind of smiles. But this is where, well, he noticed what was it called, Matsui is trying to do. Put it under a genjutsu, which he managed to break out. But of course, where both Kiba and what's it called, Himura was right now upon him. And even what's it called, Yang, literally trying to punch him and even, slice him apart. This is where, well, Kuro smiles and says, "That ain't going to happen any damn time." This is where, well, he was about to jump really easily, just almost out the window. He was about to kick the window just to break out of it pretty easily. But this is where a sword was launched so fast. This is where the sword is basically with his own sword, the sword that he was using to try to hurt Matsui, and of course trying to make him literally use his eyes. But this change of plan happened. But of course, a sword stabbed upon his shoulder. This is where he smashed through the window. And of course, he grins, looking at Matsui still standing. Matsui had a little bit of energy before passing the fuck out. This is where, well, Matsui was gritting his teeth until he passed the fuck out. This is where, well, he falls down forwards and just passing out. But this is where, well, Kuro smiles and says, well, such a, I should say, a brave little brother I have. Still, I saw all that anger and hatred in those eyes. I finally made you activate them. This is where, well, he then says, Kamoid. This is where Kuro didn't fall down, but instead vortex into a dimension. He was gone before even Yang, Kiba, or even what's it called, Himura can actually see out, well, mostly out the window, mostly the cracked window. This is where, well, they just see him vortexing gone. This is where, well, they say, damn it. This is where Sanji goes towards the car, mostly Matsui. Or not Sanji, mostly was what's called Mariyama and Catherine, just to check on Matsui. Which Matsui is just breathing hard because, yeah. But of course, where, well, this can see a lot of wounds on, well, Matsui. Which, we kind of go into a time skip. Matsui woke up right now just panting really fucking hard. And right now having a nightmare. This is where he says, what the hell happened? This is where, well, he has bandages all around his chest. And of course, mostly in his back and even, well, front, but yeah. This is where the school nurse says, well, you had a really bad kind of wound. Well, you had really bad wounds. This is where, well, Matsui says, oh, damn it. She must be a devil. Which he can feel like some kind of energy, but he can't tell if she's a devil or not. This is where, well, the school nurse is a little bit different, but yeah, from any of the other devils. This is where, well, the school nurse is like an old lady, and of course she kind of just smiles at Matsui and saying, you know, you have pretty bad wounds. I would have sent you to the doctor, but they would have questioned and how you got these wounds. So I instead decided to heal you instead. Matsui is right now in his true form, not in his genjutsu form. But of course, well, Matsui, he kind of just looks at her and says, thanks. What's it called? Lady Chiyo. This is where, well, her name is Lady Chiyo. And of course, Lady Chiyo says, you're welcome, Matsui. Matsui Uchiha. This is where Matsui winds his eyes, looks at Chiyo and says, how do you? Oh, you don't think I don't know about you, Issei, and Murahama's true last names? Now, I know that you never did put a last name, well, you put a random last name into your, well, mostly name. But I already know you, young prince of the Uchihas. I'm not dumb. Of course, no one else knows about you being the young prince of the Uchihas, and no one knows about the clan exactly. Now, of course, you having, well, mostly a false last name, I already know, well, she kind of says, I already knew that you were the prince of the Uchihas. After seeing that genjutsu, that kind of weak genjutsu, which also, how should I say, the acting and other stuff that you've been doing for over mostly the 2 years you've been here in Kuo. This is where, well, or mostly the 2 years and a half, because this is the second year. This is where, well, what's it called? Jill says, but still, you're great at acting. I guess I can give props to those two Uchihas. But still, your anger does kind of burst out of your genjutsu, and you do close your eyes most of the time. But it's quite interesting to see your older brother, Kuro Uchiha, try to kill his little brother. This is where, well, Matsui says, do you know so much about me? Well, people should be knowing about you so much about that. Well, not many people should know about it, but I know about a good chunk of information from you, Murahama, and also Issei. Like, I know Murahama is Murahama Hyuga, and I know Issei is Issei Utsutsuki. Also, the container of such a powerful being. I don't know what the powerful being is named, but I just know that's powerful. This is where, well, Matsui just sighs and says, damn it. What do you want exactly from me? Nothing. I just want you to heal up and get out of my, what's it called, mostly nurse office. Because I want to keep watching YouTube videos, but not the point. So, there's also some people that are outside the nurse office kind of worry about you. 4 girls in total. Can't believe you managed to steal their hearts, and you're at your true form, and how you fought bravely against Kuro. This is where, well, I'm not too grit his teeth and say, damn it. Would tell them to F off. This is where Masui said. This is where, well, Shio says, can't do that. And besides, I'm somewhat like an older adult, so I can't really cuss at them. And I can't tell them to go away. You're going to have to do that yourself. Ugh. He grit his teeth. Fine, I'll do it. But this is where, well, Shio says, but before that, I suggest you don't break their hearts. Instead, try to live normally, like a normal teenager. Instead of, what's it called, you, Issei, and even what's it called, Murahama, right now hiding your lives. Shouldn't you kind of act like your true selves? Well, for you, you should probably kind of cut it down on how you be cussing most of the time. Master grits his teeth and says, and why should I do that? You already know, well, you already seen it firsthand, or I'm guessing you've seen it firsthand. Kuro, he's just gonna go after me all the time. I'm not going to stop. I don't care. I would rather push people away from me than get close to them. This is where, well, mostly, Chio sighs and says, why are you always like this? Such a young man you are, but yet you're such troublesome. You can't see that some people are trying to get close to you, while you're still trying to push them away. This is where, well, Matsui says, I don't need people. All I need is my brothers, my 2 best friends. I don't need anyone else. This is where, well, he then hears kind of like the curtains falling upon him, and of course, where, well, he then feels someone kind of fall upon him, which was confusing, but this is where, well, Chio kind of chuckles, and this is where when he opened his eyes, he kind of opened his eyes towards a girl being on top of him, and she has purplish long hair. Of course, she does have bandages around her body, but yeah. A girl with purplish hair, of course, she did have bandages, and of course, she does kind of have like this nurse outfit. And this is where, well, she kind of has purplish eyes. Well, are they purple? Wait, I don't remember. Well, she kind of has the dull purple eyes, and of course, where, well, she kind of says, I'm sorry about that, Matsui-kun. This is where, well, Matsui kind of has a tint of blush because she seems so innocent and cute at the same time, while Lady Chill kind of noticed the little tint of blush and just chuckles a little bit more. This is where, well, she says, oh my, I didn't expect the big bad Uchiha to have a little crush on my assistant. This is where, well, Matsui says, I don't. This is where he gets up, mostly from, what's it called, mostly the purplish hair girl mostly grasps and of course gets up, puts a blanket over his crotch, and this is where he says, I don't. This is where, well, the purplish hair girl kind of just has a weird question mark in why he did something like that, and this is where Chio knows why he did that. And this is where, well, she just chuckles and says, so I gotta be going though. This is where Chio says, and this is where she says, you two don't start trying to do some stuff without some suit, or mostly, well, not super, explain it. Mostly, she says, try not to do anything without protection, okay? She kind of just teased. And this is where, well, Matsui kind of grit his teeth and says, you crazy old lady, I won't do anything. This is where, well, the girl with purplish hair, his name was a called, well, this is where, well, her name is Sumiki. And of course, she kind of just look confused and says, huh? What is she talking about? This is where, well, Matsui says, oh no, I don't think you should pay attention to your, mostly the crazy nurse. That's where Maiku says, okay, my name is Maiken. Well, mostly Sumiki. Or, wait, let me say that again. Not Maiken, mostly Maki. This is where, well, what's it called? Matsui says, oh, Maki, I see. Wait, you're in my second year also, aren't you? Maki says, yeah, I am, what's it called? Matsui-kun. This is where, well, Matsui says, kun? This is where, well, Maki says, did I say something wrong? This is where Matsui says, no, 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 no. He had both of his hands up and says, no, no, no. You didn't say anything wrong. It's just surprising to hear someone call me by that. Or mostly call me Kun. Then can I call you Maki-chan? That's where Maki's face becomes red and says, sure, whatever kind of floats your boat, Matsui-kun. This is where she blushes. This is where, Matsui kind of gets up and says, I should be going. This is where he feels his back hurts, and this is where he's like, ow, son of a bitch. This is where, he tries not to cuss in front of her, and this is where Maki says, I'm sorry. Did I do something wrong? This is where, Matsui says, no, it's just my back hurts. Damn, I didn't expect so much pain to go through my body most of the time. This is where, Maki says, I'll get some painkillers. This is where, also he says, it'll be fine. I can just get up. This is where he feels his back still hurts. It's like, oh no. He's just gritting his teeth, but yeah. And cursing was a Gakuro, mostly for all the wounds that he inflicted on him. But yeah. This is where, we go into mostly Maki kind of getting some painkillers and giving it to Matsui. Matsui does drink it and, takes it and drinks water, but yeah. That's where he gets up and just tries not to feel the pain most of the time, but yeah. That's where Maki says, you shouldn't be going to class and other stuff. That's where Matsui says, I'll be fine. Besides, I'm not getting to class, I'm just gonna go home instead. That's where Maki says, oh, okay. That's where, he then puts on the clothes that are torn, but of course, Maki says, I don't think you should be wearing kind of bloody clothes and torn clothes. Matsui says, I don't have anything else to wear, so, I guess. This is where, Maki says, I could, I could, This is where she's trying to think. Oh, I could, what's it called, the, council president for extra clothes, or clothes in just general. This is where, what's it called, Matsui says, I'll be fine. Besides, it doesn't matter, I can just clean it later when I get home. This is where he just waves her off. This is where, Maki says, okay, bye, Matsui-kun. This is where Matsui says, yeah, bye, Maki-chan. This is where, Maki still blushes, but yeah. This is where, Matsui gets out, and this is where, mostly the older lady, mostly the nurse, kind of says, so, Maki, how did you like him? This is where, Maki turns around and says, Lady Chill, he was nice, cool, and also good looking, wasn't he? Wasn't he your type of person that you like? That's where, Maki blushes and looks away, but yeah. That's where Lady Cho just loves teasing her, mostly assistant, but yeah. This is where, we go into Matsui kind of about to get outside, but of course, this is where he bumps into Catherine, Moriyama, Yang, and even Himura. This is where, they ask him if he's fine. This is where, Matsui kind of just shakes him off and says, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going home. I can probably tell that's already kind of late to go home, but yeah. This is where, Catherine and Mariyama, kind of grab each of his arms and says, we're not letting you just go by basically go by yourself. We won't let that crazy bastard of an older brother of yours try to attack you. This is where, Matsui says, how much did you hear about my conversation with him? This is where, they kind of look embarrassed and say, well, we didn't hear about your last name. Pretty much, you two haven't really said the last name. But we did hear a good chunk, and you guys just screaming it. But yeah, or mostly you screaming at him, but yeah. Matsui says, oh, god damn it. This is where, they still kind of grab his arm just because they won't let him, get out of their grasp still. This is where, Matsui says, besides, I'll be fine. He won't attack me again. I don't think so. So, I gotta just get somewhere, okay? This is where they say, no. Of course, they're having his arm in basically their bosoms, and of course, Matsui is having a little tinted blush. He can feel their softness. And this is where, even though he's not a perv, he's an Uchiha, and usually the Uchihas aren't pervs, he still has a little bit perverse side. Even, mostly it was just developed a little bit a while ago, but yeah. This is where, Matsui said, I'm good. This is where, Yang basically pressed her chest behind him, and this is where Yang says, yeah, we're not letting you out of our sight. This is where, Yang and what's it called, Hariyama, or, yeah, Hariyama kind of just, put their bosom behind them, and this is where, well, Mosui says, can you girls stop? This is where, well, Mosui is really wanting to use his body flicker, but he can't because they're kind of all around him. This is where, well, Mosui says, I'm so screwed. But we go into mostly, well, the end of this, mostly the end of this part. But yeah, I'm going to end it off here because I'm getting tired and I am thinking of falling asleep any damn time. But yeah, or maybe I can get to doing that what if later, maybe. I don't know, what time is it? Shit, it's almost about to be 1, and I gotta charge my phone now that I notice. But other than that, bye, see you, and yeah, bye.